There is nobody that our corporate mainstream media hates more than a journalist who actually calls them out on their BS, which is why they're all attacking Glenn Greenwald right now. So if you don't know who Glenn Greenwald is, he is a writer for a website called The Intercept. He is a Pulitzer Prize winning journalist who published a lot of stuff that had to do with the Edward Snowden case a couple of years back. So this made him very big. In fact, this made him big enough to pretty much do anything that he wanted in the corporate mainstream media, but he decided to go independent and he calls them out all the time. Case in point this week, he called out a young writer at USA Today that has written an article that is basically laying out how people that have gotten charged in the Capitol riots that happened in DC earlier in January are using different crowdfunding sources to be able to raise money for their lawyer fees, right? So that their lives don't get ruined and so that they get out of jail. And what this article is trying to do is to try to bring attention to these alternate crowdfunding platforms so that they can generate such an outcry that people try to shut down these alternate crowdfunding sources. And this is the entire purpose of the USA Today article. Now, Glenn Greenwald sees this and he's told the young writer, he tweeted the young writer on Twitter, he said, congratulations for basically being used by the corporate mainstream media so that these people do not have a right to defend themselves. And the idea here is that these people that were at the Capitol, oh, these evil Trump supporters, racists, Nazis, white supremacists, all of the things that they have said about these people at the Capitol, now the mainstream media, the corporate mainstream media is using this young journalist and using people like her to try to destroy these people's lives. And Glenn Greenwald sees it, just like I see it. And they hate him now. So now that he busted them out, and now that he has said this, they have attacked him, they have called him misogynistic, racist, you know, all the usual talking points that comes from the left. And this sort of hatred and vitriol comes from the left when somebody is right over the target. And that's how you know Glenn Greenwald is right on target with his criticism of the USA Today article and his criticism of the young journalist. Because he knows that these left-leaning or far left-leaning journalists at these corporate mainstream media institutions are being used to further an agenda. They're using journalism as activism. That is what they're using the platforms for. And they're using these platforms to further destroy the people on the right, the people that have voted for Trump, that have been smeared as Nazis, racist, white supremacists, anything under the sun that you can think of. Glenn Greenwald called this out. He knows that the corporate mainstream media is run by corporations and that this isn't about news. This is about pushing forward a political agenda. He called it out. That is why they hate him. Never forget the aim of the corporate mainstream media. These are not journalists. These are activists, and they are using those platforms to push their agenda.